Well guys, Larry from L&M Homestead, and today is another day of exciting 3- rock hauling. I think that I need about 8 to 10 loads to finish the driveway part of it. And so I'm in here early. It's a little chilly. It's 43 degrees this morning, and the heater on this truck doesn't work. It's not the heater part. It does have heat a little. You can feel the heat coming out of it, but the heater motor doesn't work. The fan doesn't work. Might be just a fuse, might be the heater fan itself. I don't know. I haven't had a time to look at it. It's never been an issue because he needed a heater until yesterday or day before, and I was like, I ain't got time to mess with this thing. So I've just been non-stop, just going. So I'm gonna get this done here today, and I am then I can I'm gonna have a break for a couple days. I'm gonna be bulldozing and all this stuff. So he just got me loaded, so I gotta go out and level off the back. Well, there we go. We are all set to go. I don't need to put my seatbelt on. I gotta get out again. So the first load, I think I need about 8 to 10 loads, so it's not gonna be too long of a day. And time to get to work. Well guys, I'm done hauling this rock for right now. I've gotten it down here. It's kind of hard to transition from putting 6-inch down to going to nothing, so there's not gonna be a bump there. I need to scrape this a little bit better, pull some of that back into this area right here. I'm getting down into the clay and the fill stuff has a little bit of a dip there. I need to pull that back, and I think what I'm gonna end up doing is getting a couple loads of driveway gravel and starting it back in this area right here and building it out to there. It's hard to do that with 3-inch stuff when you're putting on like 6 inches of thickness, and then also you're trying to go down to nothing. It's going to be a pretty good bump there, and this is going to be like this for a while. So I might get me 2 or 3 loads of driveway gravel and put it back here going, transition down there. It'd be easier to do that. I just got this kind of scraped up here, but it is done all the way to the top. This will definitely be big enough for a semi to come through and be able to drive right where I'm walking with your tractor. This is real loose in here. I haven't compacted this down yet. Coming up here, turning, and you got all that corner down there to get your trailer around. So this is definitely big enough down here. That one up there, I don't know, it's gonna be close, I think. So I think it's gonna be, because it's gonna be fill dirt all alongside of it the same height. So it'll be, if it's too narrow, I'll just throw some more rock in there and make it wider up in that turn. But it's all the way up and goes all the way to the top. And I have 1 load left. It took more loads than I thought. I was thinking 50, 60, maybe 70 to finish it off, because I was basically trying to figure out where I'm in the camera here. Right about there. It wasn't that far away. It took me, actually, no, I was back by that stump when I started this morning. That stick on the side of the driveway. So that would have been right about where that shadow, a little further than that shadow is. I figure 50, 60 tons or so. Ended up being 122 tons. I kept bringing it in, dumping it. And I'm like, I think so. I think, no, couple more. And got her pretty good. And then got it going down this way too, so that all the stuff that I have stored up there will be easy to get to too when it gets wet. This up here, I have compacted this in pretty good. I didn't use the compactor on the tractor. What I did is I had a full load left, and what I dumped, I was a little shy over here, so I dumped maybe a half a load there, and then I kept about a half a load of this rock in. So it would have been probably 5 tons of weight. and I just drove it all the way up the driveway. I'd back all the way up along the edge and then come down this the track over, back up, and I just kept doing that over and over. And this stuff here, where I did that, is locked in, and you can see my feet. It is pretty much put this down like concrete. It is really good. It's got some tire marks in it and stuff like that. I'll smooth all out with the blade and stuff. But we're supposed to get rain, I think tonight or in the morning, something like that. Tomorrow a little bit, and then Saturday. So that's going to go all through this, get into that fill, and then I'm going to really compact it. I'm going to run the compactor over it. Then I'm going to put a half a truck of fill and do the same thing like I did here, and just back over, and that's going to smoosh it down inside of the driveway, inside that fill. It's going to put it all in there, and then I will do a full load on the dump truck and do the same thing, and then probably go over and roll it again, and then scrape it all smooth, and then one last time with the roller compactor. And now we'll get this driveway. I'm good with this. This is really good. This will be a great base. It's 3" minus, so some of the rocks are 3", some are 2", some are 1", some are smaller. It's got fines in it. So all that stuff just kind of interlocks with each other, and it really does well. So it's going to make a good driveway, and this is the way it's going to stay until we're done. And then I'll put the finished gravel on top of it once we get our building all done and everything. So I'm happy. So now I'm going to head out. It's kind of an early night. I have church tonight. We do sermon notes on Wednesday nights. Sermon notes are where everybody takes notes and everything else during church service, and then we meet on Wednesday nights, and then we ask further questions. And what did you mean by this when you said this, Pastor? Stuff like that. And so we meet Wednesday night at church, and that's going to be happening in like 10 minutes. So I'm going to make my way there. The wife's going to meet me there tonight because I'm running a little late. I wanted to get this pretty much done. So if it starts raining, it will be good. Well, guys, it is time to get working. I have been working, but it's time to finish up this top landing up here so I can continue to haul the rock in here and putting this base in so I can get working on major projects. I got a lot to go before I can do this. I can tell you right now, I'm going to get this base. I am not going to get that house built before I think the snow. I don't know. I don't know what the winter is going to hold for us here and stuff, but it's going to be constructing that temporary house down in that corner. It's not going to happen. It's not going to it is going to happen, but it's not going to happen before the snow flies, I think. I just got too much to go. I think a lot about it, and I can push and I can push. I am a one-man show here. I got to do as much as I possibly can. But I need to get this whole landing up here all perfectly level. And I could do it with rock and everything else. And I could put like a 6" layer of rock on here and then level all that off like I did with the driveway. But that'd be very expensive. I mean, it would probably be about the same amount as I did the whole driveway with, and that was 458 tons of rock. I don't see the purpose in doing that because the main thing is that okay, let me see if I can explain this. So the house is down there, is going to be down there. The future house will be down there where the trees are. The garage will be right here where this dirt ends. That's kind of where the garage will be starting. So I have this driveway coming up here. And then right here where I'm standing, the driveway is going to split off and kind of go over into this area and kind of be like a circle type of thing right in front of the house. So people want to come over and visit, they can come over and kind of park and stuff, and then the front door will be right in that corner, right where those trees kind of start down in there. And then the driveway will continue back to the garage, and it'll be a 2.5 car garage, a little bit bigger in size because I'm going to make the garage actually big enough to get my F-350 in. Yeah, I'm going to put my truck in the garage. That'd be something different. But never had a garage big enough to do that, so I'm going to make this garage a little bigger. Plus, my wife's truck in the garage we have now, you have to kind of pull in and then do this little angle thing to fit it in there, and it barely fits in. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that we can easily pull in and have enough room. But that'll be that. But then the driveway is going to continue to go off this way and go that way, the final driveway, and go all the way over by those trees and then come into the back where the bulldozer and all that stuff is stored back there. And that's all going to be a big pad back there. It's going to have a bunch of the 3-inch rock back there to build a base and everything. And that's kind of going to be kind of the parking for equipment and stuff and things I'm working on. They'll be behind the barn dominium, behind the shop. And right now we're going to use it for a temporary place for a house that we're going to build. And then this driveway here will expand over with this here tree. It'll kind of taper over and go right along here and go over towards that pine tree, and this will go up too. And that's where the barn dominium is going to be built, is straight ahead, and it'll have 2 big overhead doors, 14 feet high, probably 12 feet wide. And that way it'll have 2 bays that go into there. But for right now, I don't need, and the driveway here and the driveway going around, that can be all real good rock, all laid in, all pressed in and everything. But I don't need all that right now. What this rock is for is to make this a accessible construction site for all the building and everything else. So when it rains and stuff, we could still get in here. The well driver, he's going to be going back there. Need to get the rock down, because if they show up and they see just the dirt, I think they would still do it because they're up here on the landing. It's all firm ground now. I don't see that, but we're going to make it so it's anyways. But the temporary house is going to be back there. We're probably not going to start on the barn dominium until probably spring. But I'm going to put this road rock all going in here and kind of a little bit expanded over in this area, going over towards the well. And I will probably dump some over in this area too, so that as I bring up truckloads of fill and back in there, it doesn't sink in and everything else and get all muddy and icky and stuff, because I'm going to be doing a lot of this in the winter. So that's the plan. But all I want to do is put down 1 layer, because all of this stuff that's going to go in here and stuff, when I build the barn dominium, all that's going to get dug out again. So it's just a kind of a waste of money. So I want to make sure that I have a very nice level base to start with, because I don't want to buy an extra to make it level. So I've been working over here for about a day and a half, actually. Been working up here and stuff. I've gotten all of that over there really level, where the temporary house is going to be. That's all perfectly level and stuff and coming on. I have a tapering going down. That's just going to stay that way. That doesn't matter. That I'll take care of that later. It's just where the house is going to be over there. It's all nice and level. This over here I wasn't very happy with. It had, when it does rain, there's a couple spots where it gets puddles and the water stays in. So what I've done is I put up my rotary laser. And I'm going to tell you guys, that rotary laser, if you have anything of this going on, a building and stuff like that, that VVOR laser, I highly recommend it. If I remember correctly, I paid $169 for it. $169 or $199, not really sure. But if you look on the market for self-leveling rotary lasers, you're talking well over $1,000 for most of them. And I was like, oh, it's this cheap thing and stuff. And at first, I really struggled with it. But I just didn't believe it. It was always different, always off. But then I got the actual tripod from VVOR too that works with it. And I think that was $51, something like that. It was $58, somewhere around there. I got that to go with it, and now that thing is on. And when I put those containers in there, I went in there afterwards. I'm like, this is going to be the ultimate test. And I went in there and I put the level on the floor and put it both directions inside there, and it was perfect. And I was just like, okay, I trust you, VVOR. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a measurement from in between the two containers way back there with my stick, taking that measurement, and then I'm coming out to where I keep that same exact measurement out to where I'm starting to dig here. And that's kind of even with the house. And then from there, I'm going 1 inch down about halfway. So I'm going 1 inch lower. And then I've been digging that down. This over here needs to be cleaned up some and everything. The first row is good. I finally got that good and level. I'm just kind of going off of it, and I'll have to keep double checking. I can see this needs to come down right in here. But then out here where I'm standing, where the end of the driveway is actually going to end, I have this 2 inches down from that measurement way back there. It's going to provide just a little bit of a slope. It's not going to be much, but it's going to provide a little bit of a slope so this doesn't just sit back here and just hold water and everything else. I'm also countering that with some ditches too. I dug these when the water was all kind of pooling up here and stuff like this, and I just took my bulldozer and I just cut some ditches. I actually had 3 of them, and I cut them to go off of here, and there's another one that goes in between the containers and goes down along the woods there. And I had another one that went over here. I can't have that one in there because that's where the building is going to be. But what I'm going to do is I've already started on the one over by the containers. I'm about halfway done with it. Is I take my measuring stick and I am dropping the slope of the drainage ditch 1 inch per foot, so that it has a very nice slope for the water to flow out back there. That way, back by the containers, the water will never sit and everything else. In case it comes out of the woods, runs into there and stuff like that, it has a path to get out. And then I have some corrugated drainage tile that has holes all in it, but then it has like a fabric screener on it to keep the fines from getting into it. And that's going to be laid into it, and it's just basically going to go down around the corner there and then go off into the woods. And there's like a natural gully that goes right all along in here. So that I got to get laid, and then I'm going to do one in here too. And this is going to come out right here, and it's going to come out right past the house and come down, and I'm actually going to take it and spool it around the garage and have it go out and around the other side of the garage. And then there's going to be a ditch that I'm going to dig when I fill all that down in there to make a natural ravine off the driveway and off of down there, where water will go down the hill, and there's a culvert down on the bottom where then it can go through the culvert and off into the woods, and there's another big gully on the other side. So this is everything that I'm doing today. This looks so much better, this first run and everything. I worked and worked on it, and then last night it's been a lot of, it's very finesse bulldozing. And I was getting a little aggravated with it, and I just took a moment, calmed down, went back in, started scoping all the numbers, and I got this first run really perfect. It's actually really nice. If you go back and sit, it's just nice and smooth all the way back to the back where the containers are, and that's going to let the water flow. Then I started, it was like getting dark out, and I had the lights on and running this thing. But I basically just put the corner of the blade on there and kept the blade level and just kept going. I'm getting higher over here though, I can see it. So now you can see this in the daylight. So I'm gonna have to go back in here and kind of finish this and everything and make this all nice and everything. And I'm just gonna keep continuing to go over that way and pushing that off the side. So a lot of bulldozing today. I'm hoping to get this all taken care of today, and then tomorrow, well, hopefully today, I'll be over on the other side and get that side all done, and then get the drainage tile in here. Well, guys, I am done. It is level what I need level. Basically up there behind the backhoe over that way. I do not have the ditch dug. I did not get that today, and I need to finish this drainage ditch over here. But I got it real nice and level going all the way across and stuff. And it's not finished out there at the end, but I'm not going to put gravel out there. I'm just going to have gravel coming in this area, going over where the temporary house is going to be built, coming back into this area where the containers are going to be, and then going right there. I got to take that high bank of dirt out into the woods a little bit, and that's where the well is going to be. It's going to be tucked back into the woods just a little bit, so that the well pipe is not sticking up someplace, because this is going to be all a big parking lot back here where I'm going to have semis and equipment else coming back here, turning around. Don't want a well pipe sticking up someplace that gets hidden or something with the snow or something and it gets hit and busted off. So it has been all level. It's there. It's been many times with the measuring stick out here and the laser and constantly correcting, but it is all level right now. There is one little low spot right in here. I thought about bringing some more fill in, but the barnuminium is going to go over there, and then we're planning a future little building that we'll build off at L, and that'll end about right there. So it really don't matter. That's low. So, but yeah, it's good. So tomorrow morning I'll be coming out, finishing these drainage ditches and putting the drain tile in. Do this one. I will probably bring this one all the way back to here where I'm standing, and probably start it right back in here and have it go all the way out, and it'll go all the way out, and then it'll snake around the end, and then all the fill I put out there, there's going to be a natural ditch that I'm going to make. I'll probably have that drainage tile end into that ditch so it drains down along the driveway and across the culvert. I had a pretty eventful day here. I almost got shot right here. I almost got shot right there. It was kind of crazy. I backed the bulldozer up right here where I'm sitting, and I was going to use the laser level, go out there and measure everything and see how much more I needed to go down and everything. And I backed up here, and I heard some people shooting back in the woods, way back in there. I heard people shooting once in a while and stuff. I'm out in the middle of the woods, you know. It's what's going to happen. It's, you know, I sport guns, so. And so I have no problem with it and everything else, you know, go ahead and hunt. But you don't shoot towards somebody else's property, especially, you know, somebody's done it. But I backed up here with the bulldozer, and I was going to go measure, and I got off the bulldozer and I stepped down, and I was going to go over here and relieve myself. And all of a sudden there was just a loud boom just over the top of this hill, and it was a shotgun, and it made me drop, and all the BBs went through these trees over here, and some of them bounced off the container over there. And I was just like, what in the world? And they shot right over the top of my head. And I screamed and everything, told them, hey, and nobody responded to me. I'm like, knock it off, and nobody responded to me. So then I took off running and went back in the woods. There is a trail that is not far from here. It's just through these woods, and you know, our property is right here where these flags are, but there is a trail that's just into those woods, and it comes from way down there and comes up, and it actually ends up right here on the property. But the neighbor kids have made another trail off it to go back further. And I ran up to that trail, and I couldn't find anybody. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And so I started walking back here and stuff, and I just got down on here, and then also I heard another boom, and it was further in the woods where it was before. And I'm like, okay, that's on the trail. And I'm like, there's some idiot back here, doesn't know people are back here, whatever. I'm like, I'm going to get my pickup truck, and I'm going to drive down and pull into that trail and see if somebody's got a side-by-side or four-wheeler parked over there. And I'm going to sit there and wait for them and say, what are you doing, you know? And so I started heading out the driveway, and I went out. I have a gate on this property, and I keep it closed even when I'm here, so that four-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff, they come down the dead-end road, and if I don't close the gate, they'll just come right in. So I had to close, so I got out. I started opening the gate and everything, and all of a sudden I look behind the neighbor's house that's right on our road. I look behind his house, and you see three little orange jackets running out of the woods, running behind the house. And my temper went up. I was like, it was those guys. It was the neighbors, their kids. And I'm like, they know that I'm back here. That made it just worse, because I'm thinking it's some guy doesn't know or whatever. I'm gonna go let them know. Here it turns out to be these kids, and they know I'm back here working. And my fire level went up, and I pulled into the yard, and I kind of glanced in the house, in the window of the house. I didn't see any movement, and then I looked around and I looked into their garage, and you could look through the garage, and there was a back window in the garage, and I saw some kid in an orange jacket peep his head out, and he saw me looking that way, and he quick jumped back. I'm like, oh no. So I walked back there, and I came around the corner, and I looked at him, and there was 3 kids sitting back there, teenage boys. And I like, what do you think you're doing? And the one kid was like, hunting. I says, are you trying to hunt me? And he's like, no. And he goes, we were shooting that way, you know, like away from my land. I looked at him, I said, do not lie to me. I says, you shot a tree just a couple feet above my head. And I says, do not even lie to me. I says, if you did nothing wrong, why were you running through the woods and come running in here, and now your guys are sitting back here hiding behind a garage? And I said, do not even try to attempt to lie to me. And the one kid was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, I was so mad. I was not ready to talk, or I was just like, I got to get away from these kids. And I just looked at him. I said, I'm going to tell you right now, that was not cool. And I says, I will be talking to your dad. And I turned around and walked out. And then as I was walking out, there was a couple other kids that were in the house, and they were looking at me out in the yard. And I'm like, I know the mom was there, and I'm like, she's gonna see me out there behind their garage, saying what's going on. So I went up, said, can I see your mom? And she came out. I said, just to let you know, this is what happened. And she was like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no. And I says, first rule, if you're gonna operate a gun, you gotta know what's behind what you're shooting. And I says, that was not cool at all. And I was very upset yet and everything else. And I'm like, I'll be back, and I'm gonna talk to your husband. And the husband just came up here about an hour ago. He came up here, and he walked all the way up here. And I guess he got home, and the boy talked to him, told him what happened and everything, and he said, okay, let's go for a walk and you show me where you shot. And he took him, went for a walk out in the woods and everything, and he's like, I shot just in this direction. He goes, that's not towards his property. And he's like, yes, it is. That is right towards his property. And I guess they went through the woods a little bit and so they could see. And he's like, right there it is. You shot, it's exactly what he's saying. He was, you shot right at him. And so he went back home, and he came back up here. He walked up here and came up, and he's like, I know it doesn't matter, but I apologize. And I'm like, I understand. I says, I get it. And I says, I've had some time to cool off and everything else. And I says, but I says, I'm hoping that he learns from this. I said, because that was not good. And I says, you know, I got my family coming out here, and these guys cannot shoot in this direction. He goes, I walked him out there and showed him you can't shoot anything in this direction whatsoever. And so I'm gonna have my kids out here, my wife and stuff and everything else, and I don't need bullets flying this way. And he goes, completely understand. And he goes, I got no excuse. He goes, I walked out there and he showed me, and he goes, I got no leg to stand on. He goes, you're absolutely correct. He did shoot right at you. And I'm like, okay. And so we worked it all out and everything else. Everything is all cool and stuff. But yeah, I got kind of shot at today. Pretty exciting stuff, man. Yep. Well, I'm happy that's all done with. It's supposed to, they're talking chance of rain tonight. Clouds look like it. Be no big deal if it does. But I'll be out here tomorrow and get those drainage ditches all dug out and get those done. And then Monday morning right away I can start hauling stone again and getting stone all put up in here. So, well guys, I have gotten the landing pretty dang decent, I gotta say. It's nice and level. It's about halfway back the container on this side there. It's nice and level. Then it goes up. I'm not worried about that right now. I can bring rock in here, lay all the rock down to that point. I'll dig that out later. That's nothing important. I will put some rock in between the containers, put it right here where the temporary housing is going to be, and then lay all the rock out to the driveway. And then it'll be over in front of these containers too, going over there, because the well is going to be right there inside where that high berm of dirt is. I'm going to carve all that out and make a little spot there. That's where I want the well to be, because there's a, I think it's like a 6 or an 8-inch cap that comes out of the ground, steel pipe. That's the casing, and that sticks up out of the ground, usually a foot, 2 foot, whatever. If I put it back in there in those trees like that, that way snow plowing, whatever, running around here with equipment, somebody's not going to bang into it and smash the casing. That's the main reason why it's going back in there, to kind of protect it. I'm also planning on building a shed over the top of it, something that will have like a big hook in the top of it that I can put over the top, and that will keep the snow and everything off of it, and I'll kind of insulate it a little bit, and that'll keep the well from freezing. Then if there's ever a problem, I'll just take the backhoe, put a chain to it, hook it up to it, and just lift it off, lift the whole little house of it off. So if they have to come in with a truck to yank the pump out of it or whatever, then they can do that. So I got all the drainage done. I started right here because I've noticed that when it rains, back in this area right in here is where the water gets to. This is where it kind of collects to right here. I have tapered it down now. I have 2 inches drop out on the end that I had before, but still it's not going to be ginormous. I don't want it to be like a creek going down here when it rains and the water flowing down, because the house is going to be on the end, so I don't want this flood of water going towards the house build that will be coming against the foundation, and maybe in future, you know, deteriorate the foundation and cracks and all kinds of things. So I don't want that. The center is a little bit higher than the sides. Each side kind of tapers down towards the woods and stuff just a little bit. But I noticed that from back in here, the water to get out of here, it's a long run. So it kind of collects back in here. So I put this drainage tile in here, and what I did is I started digging it with the bulldozer, and then I went to the backhoe, and there's like white lines that are painted on the ground. You can see them every once in a while. Right here's one. There's one. Those are every 10 feet. And a good slope for a drainage tile is 1/4 inch per foot. So each one of those lines, I took a measurement. Right here is where I'm going to start. And I took a measurement, and then I went 2.5 inches deeper, 10 feet, another 10 feet, 2.5 inches more, another 10 feet, 2.5 inches more, and kept doing that. So it has a nice taper to get the water out of here. Now back in here, back in about this area, right about in here where I'm standing right here out here, there's actually going to be in the future an extension onto the barndominium that's going to come over the top of this. But the end of it will stick out behind that building. It's going to be like a garage that we're going to store cars in and stuff, because we get a lot of snow and winter and rain and stuff. So me and the wife, we like muscle cars. So we're thinking in the future we might get a couple of cars to restore or something. You need a place to store them up here when you live up here like this. So we might have a little storage thing here. We're going to build it off the barndominium and have it come in this way. It will go over the top of this, but this will extend past it, so that it'll give drainage back here in this little lot back here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start hauling all the 3-inch stone in tomorrow morning first thing. And I'm going to start hauling it in. I'm just going to back up, open the tailgate up, and I'll just open up 3 inches, 4 inches, you know, and tilt the thing up and to start backing up as it's pouring out, and just back up and just try to get a nice coat on here as I back up. I'm not going to put it super thick up here, because a lot of it that I'm putting down is actually going to get pulled back up. So I'm just putting it down enough to make sure that we have a decent base to drive when it rains and everything else. We're not in muck. That's all I'm doing, just a single little layer. And then down through this trench, I'm actually going to put 1.5 inch washed rock. That'll be over the top of this drainage tile going down. And it'll probably be, I don't know, 40 feet down or so, even with it. And then I'll put the other 3-inch stuff over the top of it. Down there, I'll probably, on the end, I'll put like a foot of that clean rock on top of the pipe all the way through there, and then I'll just push the dirt over, because that does not have a problem draining down there whatsoever. And then over here, the same thing. It gets kind of wet back in that corner there. So I put this drainage pipe in here and did the same thing. And every 10 feet, I marked it out, did all the math. You can see numbers 7.6, 7.8.5, 7.11. Those are the measurements that I needed on my measuring stick for my laser. And I just kept digging it all the way out. And this used to go all the way down. It went straight down and stuff. I just had a ditch dug in here to kind of let the water get out of here as it was raining. I noticed it and needed it. But there's a really nice natural gully in the woods there, and it just came out perfect. I measured it and everything else, and I think it was like 8'11". I think it was the longest, the deepest one, right at the edge of the gully where it comes out. And that's about a foot higher than the bottom of the gully. So it's perfect. So the water can make its way out of here and go down to that gully, even when it's water and it's raining. It's a very steep gully down through there, so the water just kind of runs down through and trickles through. It's never like a river or nothing else. Just gives a place for the water to go away. So same thing. I'll be putting like a foot or so of stone, probably all the way up and probably into here or something like that, and then fill the rest of it with clean stone even, and then put that 3-inch over the top. So that is the plan. This is all ready to go. I just got to start hauling all the rock again. I don't know how much it'd be, another 300 tons probably or something. I don't know. And then, like I said, the well is going to go right back, right behind where this pile of dirt is here. I was kind of excavating. But I want the well cap to be 3-4 feet beyond that, so it's behind this tree line a little bit, so nobody can ever come in there and turn in and drive and hit it and stuff. It's protected. Yeah, it's going to make for having to put the pipes, which I just saw that my drainage tile is going to be in the way. Yeah, I'll just have to cut it and patch it back together when I'm done. But the water line will come in and be going all the way across over here where a temporary house is, and then when we do the barndominium, then it'll go directly into the barndominium. That's where the pressure tanks will be and everything. And then from there, we'll route water lines all the way down to where the house is. So it's going to be a lot of water lines, but I got a backhoe, so it's not that crazy. And I'm going to put it really deep. I'm probably going to do 6 to 8 feet down, so I never have a problem with the water line freezing in the winter time, because we get some pretty good frost. It gets down pretty deep. So I'm pretty much done for the day. They're saying rain, rain. You can see the sky. It's looking like rain. So I don't know. I want the rain to come because I want it to soak the base underneath the rock I put down, so I can really compact it in good. But I also wouldn't mind the rain to stop, just hold off for a couple more days so I can haul in the rest of this rock. But it's no big deal. Like I said, I can just back up through here. It sprinkled just a couple seconds ago, but we'll see what happens. Doesn't really matter either way. But we had the whole family out here a couple days ago, and we were working on, the boys, they've been working on that camper, tearing that camper apart. It's really not that big a deal. They just kind of been working off and on a few hours here and there. When I don't need their help, they may go down there for a little while or something. They got to get that finished, torn apart, get that out of my way, because I need the parking spot, because I'm going to use that parking spot for my big trailer, my gooseneck trailer, so I can get to it in the wintertime. But the driveway down there, I ripped all kinds of trees and brush and stuff all at the sides of the driveway, ripped it all up earlier, and I had it laying down there. Well, that all has to come off of there, and we've been putting it down onto the brush pile, and we were using the backhoe with the whole part of it, scooping the stuff out. Had the old Ford tractor with the grapple on the front of it. While I was driving that, scooping up big piles, hauling it down, putting it on my pile down there. And then I was using a backhoe to load the dump truck. And the other boy was driving the dump truck down and backing up and dumping it. And we got quite a bit done. Probably still have another day or two of it. And but I have to take the backhoe down there now and drive the dump truck up there, and I gotta grab I took the tailgate off the dump truck because it was easier to pile the sticks and he's back up with the tailgate on there, the sticks all get stuck in there. So I just pulled it off. I need to put that back on because I got to start hauling rock at 7:30 in the morning. Either when they first open, so I can get as much done tomorrow as I possibly can. So I got to go finish that, get that done before it gets dark out, and then I can head home. Well, guys, last load. Last load of 3" minus. It's been a long process. A lot of hauling. One, you guys are gonna get some rain on the lens. It's raining, but I don't know if that just recorded. I just drove up the driveway and it's really nice. Nice slope to it and everything else. It's kind of bumpy because it's been raining since yesterday and this thing is soaked, and I've been hauling 10 tons of rock up and down this driveway all day long, and it's packed in tight now. I have been hauling it up here, and this is not smoothed over or nothing. It's got to be all bulldozed and then rollered and everything. I've been just coming up here and backing up with the tailgate just, you know, like 3 inches open. That's all it could open up. I had it chained up, and then just backing up and just spreading it and just continuing to do it. And I got some piles back there and some piles between the container that I'll spread out with the backhoe. But I got to get the clean stone to put down in this little gullies that I have, the drainage gullies. And then do that, and then that stuff will go over the top of it back there. So this is pretty much what I needed. I need it over there. We're going to build a house. I want it back there in between the containers, and I want it over to the well. So I think I have enough up here to finish that up with the backhoe, and it'll be good. Well, guys, I don't know if my thing recorded coming up the driveway or not. It seemed like I didn't have a recorder when I got up here. But total for today was 103.97 tons. I've done the calculations in my head. I don't know. It seems kind of right, but it also seems like I'm 100 ton off. I don't know. I got all the slips at home. But the math that is in my head, I have 679 tons of 3- rock that I have brought in here. That is a lot of rock, guys. A ton is 2,000 pounds. So take that times 2. That's a lot of weight. So I've brought in a lot here. It's supposed to continue raining and raining. I'm going to be done for today. I think my thermostat on my truck is gone out or something, or stuck or something. So I'm going to go home and take a peek at that. Simple little thing, just change out a thermostat. I think it's stuck. It's coming out here and it seemed to be overheating. And I've been having issues with the heat and stuff. I thought it was a selector switch, but I think it's the thermostat. So I'm going to run home, and I think I'm just going to drain the fluid and then change out the thermostat. They're cheap. And see if that fixes the problem. I think it is gonna. So I'm gonna go and do that and everything else. Let it rain, because now I need to do bulldozing to get this all nice and level up in here and stuff, and get this all done. And then I'll start hauling all the washed rock in for the drainage and all that stuff. Doing that, get that all hauled in here, and then I can smooth all this out and get it all to where I need it to be. And then I'm going to get a couple loads of driveway gravel. And there's a couple spots that I want to do some driveway gravel where it comes up onto this 3" down where the culvert is and at the entrance by the gate. Those places there, they need some gravel in it. And they have gravel already, but those places need a little more gravel. So I'm just going to bring a few loads of that stuff in, dump that in there. And I'm done hauling from the quarry. It's going to be quite a good bill, but it is what it is. Gotta do what you gotta do. So I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that everyone out there is having themselves a great day, great night as they watch this here video. And if you're not, you can certainly try that all over again tomorrow. God bless you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to have a video for next week. Me and the family have been... I have a granddaughter that's turning 1, and she is her birthday party is going to be this weekend, And so it's gonna be down in Wisconsin Dells, and we did not take a family vacation this summer because of this, because I'd just been out here just going nonstop and everything. And I said, why don't we turn this into a family vacation and go for an extra few days? So everybody, we're all going to do a family vacation. We're going to go down to Wisconsin Dells, and the kids are going to get to run around the water parks, and me and mom are going to get to chill and relax. I told the kids they had to leave the motel room, and they're not allowed to be back in until 8, 9 o'clock at night. I said, you guys being out having fun all day long is me gone is our vacation. So I'm not really sure. So I'm going to be gone for quite a few days and doing that. So I don't know. We'll see if I come back and actually get any work done and stuff. But I'm not really sure that I'll have another video for the next week. We'll see. I'll catch you guys later.